What is up, guys? Welcome back to another tier list video. It's going to be the in-depth console tier list for the Paladins Constellations patch. The newest patch that went live about 3 days ago. I'm recording this on Friday, so hopefully I'm going to try to get this video done at least the very latest. Have it out for you guys on Monday. So, been playing the game a really solid amount, as much as possible over the last couple days since the patch went live on Wednesday morning. I think I got a pretty good grasp of everything. There really wasn't like many crazy changes at all. If anything, nothing really changed, even though that much. It's kind of the same stuff, but there's a few things that changed. A lot of shit we're going to talk about. We got a brand new champion in the game as well. So, if you guys like these tier list videos, I love doing them for you guys. Leave a like. Let's see if we can get this video to 20 likes within the first week the video's up. If you guys can do that, I'll keep bringing you guys these tier list videos. Share the video, subscribe if you are new. We also do have a channel Discord server, so if you guys want to go down, and there'll be a link in the description, go down there, check it out. Those of you guys that are not in the Discord, if you guys have a Discord, go over there, check that out. A lot of cool stuff over there you guys are missing out on. Apart from that, this is a 100% opinionated list, so if there's stuff I do not talk about or I forget to mention, let me know in the comments down below, or if there's stuff you do not agree with, by all means, let me know your guys' own list in the comments down below. If somebody wants to do timestamps as well, I will pin your comments. So if you guys want to do timestamps, if there's somebody who wants to do that, I'll pin your comments to the top of the comment section. Got the tier list here. It's going to be SS, busted, ban every game. This is going to be a mainly ranked tier list. Like I said, mainly console. It doesn't mean that you can't use it for PC, but I play on console. I don't play on PC. So just keep that in mind. And then S tier is your must picks. A plus, just your above average stuff. Kind of the stuff that's the stuff you're going to be picking apart from like the must picks. If a lot of those are picked or banned for some reason, or there's like other options if you want to play anything there. Average, B below average. C is very situational. D is like they're almost borderline useless apart from like one or two maybe separate situations in the game where you'd actually pick them. And they got F tier, which is the worst champions in the game. You want to pick these champions by all means. If you're trying to go from like platinum and on a road to bronze tier, then by all means pick whatever is in F tier. You guys probably already know what's going to be in F tier if you guys even watch my tier list videos. So that being said, let's hop right into this. Got a brand new champion. Some of the stuff with this season as well. We got Lilith, which for some reason is not in ranked yet. She should be in ranked. I don't know if she's going to be added in ranked in a couple weeks. I don't know what they're waiting for. She should be in ranked, so we're going to kind of go along that she's going to be in ranked this patch because she's supposed to. For some reason, she's not in ranked yet. I don't know why, if it's bugged or if she's just going to be waiting to be added here in a few weeks. I don't know. And then we got a new champion, Caspain, which is a new flank champion, which we'll be talking about. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's just get Caspain out of the way. We're going to talk about him. I have a rant for Caspain, I really do. I've played him a solid amount over these last couple days when he's first been into the game. I don't know where I'd really put him. I'm going to put him at A tier while I talk about him for right now, but I just feel like Caspain, I think they're really running out of ideas. I don't know about you guys, but I think they need to quit giving us DPS and flank champions. I do not want another damage or a flank champion for at least the entire year of 2023. The game does not need any more damage or flank champions, especially with how bad they are running out of ideas and how bad some of these flanks and DPSs are. We went from Betty La Bamba being like one of the worst, like most useless additions to the game and most buggy additions to the game ever, to getting Lilith, which was actually really good. Lilith was great. Probably one of the only good champions that we've gotten in the last couple of years. At least that was designed by Necro, because he's the one that's doing all the new champions since Adonis left after Ray. Apart from that, like, what other champions that he's created for us that were actually good? That aren't annoying and just constantly busted, or just annoying as fuck? Or just add something to the game that's new and just not just fucking worthless? Like, the only one that I actually think that's actually good, that Necro has actually created for us, is actually Lilith. The rest of them are either just annoying or constantly broken, or they just don't add anything to the game. The case with Caspain is he just doesn't add anything to the game again. He's another flank that should have been a full-on melee champion that is not a melee champion. He's a semi-melee with some of his one ability, with his war, I think it is, or whatever his sword's calling. It's either love or war, whichever one it is. I think the love is his pistol or whatever. He's incredibly buggy. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of reload bugs where most of the time you won't be able to reload for whatever reason. He has one of the worst movement abilities in the game. It has a 1 second lockout. Yeah, it has 2 charges. Yeah, who cares? It gets you killed so much. He has a stun that doesn't work half the time because it's bugged. Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know where to even begin with Caspian, because I feel like he's just one of those champions that'll be... He's similar to Vatu. Like, if I were to tell you guys what Caspian really is, he's not really anything new to the game, because he plays exactly like a combination of Xin and Vatu. Except Xin actually has long-range poke, which Caspian does not have at all. He has no long-range poke, or like medium to long-range poke at all. And then Vatu is only good up close, which is kind of the same thing he does, but Vatu has way better mobility. So he's kind of a combination of both of those champions, and he doesn't really add anything new to the game. Just a huge missed opportunity as well. He has one of the most boring ults in the game, which is pretty much like a flank Vivian ult that gives you extra damage. Like, that's all it really is, and then it goes away after it's used up, after like 6 seconds or whatever when it's used up. Like, it's legit a flank version of a Vivian ult. You can't mean to tell me that you couldn't give us a fucking melee ult where we, like a Genji, like a Paladins version of like a Genji ult, where we'd be able to fly around and like melee slice people with his sword. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I feel like Caspian is just a huge letdown. I think he's going to be a champion that, at least for right now, everybody's garbage with him. I've seen maybe like 2 Caspians that were actually good, and I don't even know if they were actually good because my team was just fucking garbage. So they kind of just farmed my team. So I don't even know if the people that are actually doing good with them are actually good at the champion, or they're just getting really lucky because they're going against a team of bums. So I don't even know where to really put him on this list. If I were to place him, I think he's going to be in like C tier. I really do. He is a really high skill cap champion that you need to know what you're doing, and you need to make him work perfectly. He has a really slow fire rate on his gun. It doesn't do enough damage. It takes way too much ammo. You have to be right in somebody's face to actually do something. Like, I feel like the only reason you actually lose to a Caspian in its current state is if your team is just really bad. You should not be losing to Caspian at all at his current state in the game, as he's put into the game right now. He's not good at all. He's not good. And I feel like if they do buff him, and if they do want to change him, they put themselves into a really weird situation again. Just like Androxus and just like Seven, which we're going to be talking about next. Another huge rant. Where if they start buffing him, he's going to be in the same spot as like Seven and Androxus, to where he's going to be so fucking annoying and he's going to do so much damage, people will not want to play against him, and he's going to ruin the entire game. They have to be really, really careful when they balance Caspian, because right now he fucking sucks. At least that's what it looks like. But in my opinion, I think he's just a really high skill cap champion. We'll have to see how it goes. But if I were to place him in the game right now, with how bad everybody's playing him, and how I've not really even seen anybody even do good with him, I'm putting him in a C tier. I don't think he's good at all. I really don't. Maybe he's different on PC. Vatu is also a lot better on PC, and he plays a lot like Vatu, kind of. Just a worse version of Vatu with like shitty mobility. I don't know. Maybe he's better on PC, but for console, at least right now when I'm making this, I'm putting him at C tier. We'll see where he moves, but that's just for right now. I feel like he's just a really high skill cap champion you're gonna have to play him flawlessly to actually make him work. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna feed, and that's what everybody's doing right now. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I just feel like he's garbage too. Like, when I play him, he's just not fun to play. He is not fun to play. He has an identity crisis. He should have been either a full-on melee or like a close range to like medium range flank, kind of like Xin. Play like that. He has an identity crisis, and that's the huge flaw with his character design. He has a really cool design, but his kits and his abilities and his ult are just garbage. They don't make any sense, and they don't really add anything new to the game. That's the real problem with him again. Just like Betty La Bomba and a lot of the other champions we've been getting recently. No more flank champions. If Necro is watching my tier list and you happen to watch my tier list, no more flank and no more damage champions for the entire rest of 2022 and 2023. Stick to making tanks, stick to making supports. We do not want more flanks and we do not want more DPS champions because the ones you are making are fucking garbage. They're either annoying, broken, or they add nothing to the game. There you go. It's either one of those three things every single time we've gotten one so far. Moving on, I'm going to talk about some other stuff here. If you guys are playing the game right now, I'm going to go on a limb and say I think the balance for this game right now, if you guys are playing this game, I'm not the only one that thinks this, the balance for Paladins right now is probably the worst Paladins balance we've had, at least in the last 3 years. I've been playing this game since mid-2018, and I don't think the balance has ever been this bad. It really is. The devs don't know how to fucking balance the game, and the AOC members want to stick their suggestions in there thinking they know what they're doing, but in reality, they don't know what the fuck they're doing either, and they're also contributing to ruining the balance for the game. So you have two people that don't know what they're doing, the devs and the AOC reps, completely ruined the game. We got no changes either, guys. We got a PTS for the Constellations patch, and we got no balance changes apart from a couple reverts to a few of the small balance changes. Nothing changed going from the PTS balance to the live patch. Nothing got added, nothing got changed. Why the fuck do they want our feedback if nothing is gonna get fucking changed? People are bitching and complaining. We might as well just move 7 and Andro right up to broken and SS tier. Along with Sati and all these other champions. I'm putting Andro, 7, Sati, Terminus, and Lex all up in broken SS. Ban every game tier. I really am. It boggles my mind how people just keep bitching and complaining for these champions to be nerfed into the ground. And here we are, 3 patches later, still fucking bitching and complaining, trying to get them to nerf these champions into the ground, and nothing ever changes. The one nerf 7 got was he got his damage on it, I think his automatic stance reduced by, 10 damage. That is it. Sati got some nerfs, a little bit of a health nerf and a card nerf, and that's pretty much it. She's just the exact same. She is probably the best DPS in the game, the most annoying best DPS in the game. She can drop kick you across the map. You don't even need to be close to somebody. You can stand halfway across the map and you can just fucking drop kick somebody into the air. She's just so fucking annoying. Terminus, you can buy a nimble 3 on him still, and he just runs and end everybody. He may not be a bigger or a super big problem at the higher tiers of ranked, but anything below Plat 1, he just dominates games because people don't know how to play against him. They'll shoot into his siphon, and then by the time people actually want to target him, they're just running right at you and they can't get away. And he just swings at you for 2 or 3 times and you're dead. Especially a lot of the people that don't know how to play or aren't playing mobility champions that have no way to get away from him. Andro and 7 are probably the 2 most brain-dead fucking champions in the game right now. If you guys want to rank up, this game is no longer about skill. All these champions in SS tier are fucking busted, and they take no skill to play, and that is the real problem with the game right now. There are a handful of champions in this game that take 0 skill at all to play. All you need to do with Andro, especially they even buffed him more, I don't know why. This goes to show you the devs don't even play their own fucking game. And they didn't change anything going from the PTS into the live patch either. Even though everybody's been giving them constant feedback over the entire PTS cycle for this patch until it went live. They didn't change anything. Cursed Revolver Andro. All you have to do with Andro, y'all, if you want to win games, if Andro is not banned, you pick Andro, and as long as you know how to aim, you just shoot at people and you pretty much 2-shot anybody that's not a tank. You pretty much 2-shot them. There you go. They took all the skill out of playing Andro. It actually used to take skill playing Andro back in the day, 3-4 years ago, before he even had Cursed Cylinder, which was his talent before Cursed Revolver that did headshot damage. There was a talent before that to it. It got reworked before that too. It used to be something else. They reworked it to Curse Cylinder, which was headshot damage for like a year, and then they changed it to Curse Revolver, and now we're here where we are right now. He takes no skill to play. Andro takes no skill to play. 7 takes no skill to play either. All you need to do is just fucking grapple somebody, pull them across the map, throw down a bunch of bombs with spring loaded. You do about half of their health bar, and it takes about 1 burst from your gun to kill them, if they are not a tank. That is all you need. Fucking brain dead, takes no skill to play. If you want to win and rank up in ranked, play 7. Same thing with Salty, we talked about her. And then we got Lex, which all you need to do, whoever's marked, just play Discovery, and whoever's marked, you just run at them. That's all you need to do with Lex either. All these characters in SS Busted tier take 0 skill to play, and they are some of the most broken characters Paladins has ever seen. Because they just never get nerfed in the ground, and the AOC keep providing shitty suggestions to the devs that don't do anything, and if anything, make the game worse. And then the devs don't even listen to anybody, and they don't even play their own game. Or they just don't care. And they never get nerfed into the ground, ever. All these characters need to be nerfed into the fucking ground. They legit ruin the game, and they make the game unfun. Rant done. There you go. If you want to win, if these characters are not picked or banned and ranked, pick one of them, and just play them. They're brain dead, they take no skill. And more than likely, unless you're player with a team of bums that do nothing, and at least they try a little bit, you'll win your match. There you go. They don't take skill. It just comes down to just playing them. That's all you really need to do. As long as you can play them, you win the game pretty much, which is really sad. Back in the day, Paladins was actually skill-based. It actually took skill to play champions. Now, like a whole handful of champions don't even take skill anymore. It's really sad. And the devs don't seem to care either. It really sucked. Moving on, we got Ashe. I think Ashe right now is A+ tier. I'm going to put her at A+ tier, just mainly as like an off tank. Nothing with her has really changed from last patch, kind of the same old stuff. Mainly as an off tank, though. You can play her as a point tank on certain maps and get away with it, but she's mainly better as like an off tank, aggressive off tank. We got Atlas. I think Atlas as an off tank is still S tier. It's a must pick. Insanely good. Do not play Atlas as a solo tank or like a point tank, please. If you're going to do that, you're going to lose the game. This is strictly as an off tank. Off tank Atlas is still crazy good. Nothing with him has really changed, and kind of pretty much the same as last patch. Got Barrack, S tier. One of the best point tanks in the game. If Inara is picked or banned on the enemy team, you're going to be looking at Barrack. There you go. Might as well get all the other tanks out of the way too. Let's put Fernando up here. Let's put Fernando in must pick tier. Still really good. Sometimes you might actually even ban Fernando and Barrack too, depending on how the bans are going, as like a third ban. If the enemy team is looking for a point tank and you already have your point tank, you might actually ban one of these out, or like even an Inara, just so the enemy team has to pick an off tank for a point tank, and they're kind of at a disadvantage. I like to do that once in a while. You might actually even ban them out as like a third ban sometimes, depending on how the team in the draft is going at that point in the game. Might as well put Inara up here too. I'm actually going to put Inara at A+ tier. I think these two tanks are better than her, but the real problem with Inara is that she just doesn't do enough damage. Oh, these two tanks, like Barrack and Fernando, actually have really solid damage numbers. And then Inara, she can stay alive forever as long as she has constant heals. But like she doesn't do damage. I think the one thing they need to change with Inara, make it so she can headshot. I think that's one quality of life change that would make her a lot better. Make it so she can headshot with her weapon and her spears. That'd be really cool. I don't know if anybody from the AOC is watching, and maybe you guys can take that into consideration. I know then again, you guys always just want to feed your own balance changes and never listen to anybody else. So, probably don't even care. Bomb King. I'm going to put Bomb King in C tier. It's console, and nothing's really changed with him at all. If you can play him on console, you can carry games. The problem is it's console. You just get shredded, and especially with a lot of the other shit. Like if with Andro and 7 and Lex and all these other champions being played, it's really difficult to play them if you don't know what you're doing. Because like they can just walk up to you and pretty much kill you instantly with how broken they are. Buck. I thought Buck was better. He's kind of fallen off. He hasn't really been doing anything. I put him C tier. I don't see him being played, and if I do see him be played, he's not really doing anything. The real problem is, I think the real problem with Buck is there's just no reason to play him when you have 3 flanks in the game that are just so branded. Why would you ever play Buck over 7, Andro, and Lex, and even a few other ones that are higher tiers, which we'll talk about in a bit? There's just no reason to play him. I think once 7, Lex, and even Andro finally get nerfed into the ground, we can actually maybe see some Buck being played, and he'll be a lot better just by default. But right now, he's not really doing anything, and he lacks anything apart from close range damage and presence. Apart from that, he doesn't do anything. If you can't get right on top of somebody and kill him that way, you don't do anything medium and long range, and you become useless. Kind of the same thing as Cast Bane, funnier enough. But even then, instead of a shitty movement ability, you got a really solid movement ability, and you have your own self-heal, so I'd say he's actually even better than Cast Bane most times. Cassie, as a projectile champion, I think she's a must-pick right now. Incredibly good, really underrated. I don't see her being played nearly enough. I've been seeing a lot more Cassie being played, but compared to usual, but she's still kind of very underplayed on console. You guys are sleeping on Cassie, she's still incredibly good. 3 viable talents, really solid ult still. Crazy good damage numbers. You guys are sleeping on Cassie, you really are. Corvus, I'm going to put Corvus in A+ tier. It all comes down to what you pair him with. I think he's one of those supports that if you pair him with a team that has like 2 flanks, so like a DPS and a flank, then he becomes a lot more better. If you're pairing him with like 2 tanks and like 2 DPS or like another support, then he doesn't really do much and he's kind of just there. He's one of those supports that kind of you need to pair him with a certain team to make him work a lot better, apart from just throwing him on any team. Apart from that, nothing with him's really changed, though he can still be pretty damn good. That's why I'm putting him at A+ tier. And really annoying, too, especially if you're in like a 3 or like a 5 stack. You've got a team built around him and stuff. Dredge, as a blaster, I think he's one of the best ones in the game. Nothing with Dredge has changed at all from last patch. Still one of the best blasters in the game, along with Drogos. Drogos actually got buffed this patch. They actually put, I think they put Thrust. One of his cards, and I think it was Propel or Thrust, his Thrust card into his base kit this patch. They can go up to a 3. So he actually got that way more into his base kit now. It's console. Maybe he's going to be better on PC, but on console, until a lot of this other shit gets nerfed into the ground, he's only really good on like 3 maps, and that's why I'm putting him in S tier, because he's incredibly good on 3 maps. But then again, it also pairs against what team you're going against. If you're going against Andro, 7, or like Sati and like any of these champions up here, you just get destroyed the entire game. Or if you're going against like Victor, Leon, Tyra, Vivian, those champions as well, you're just going to get screwed the entire game. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to keep him S tier though, because I do think on like the 3 maps he's good on, like Jag, Stonekeep, and Splitstone, and maybe like one other one. He can be really good. Eevee. I think Eevee can work, but the real problem is Andro and 7 again. This is what I'm telling you guys. Like, the balance is so fucking bad in this game right now that legit like 5 fucking champions are holding down the entire roster from being good because they're so fucking broken. Like, that's the problem I'm having with, and the game's having right now. There's a lot of champions that are just being fucking held down because Andro can fucking 2-shot people and 7 can delete you in like 2 seconds before you're able to even react most times. And then you got Sati, which does pretty much the same thing. She drop kicks you from halfway across the map and pretty much 2-shots you with bonus damage. So, I don't know. That's just the thing that's kind of holding Eevee back. If you're incredibly good with her, you can get away with her. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to get shit on by everybody. You really are. I'm going to put her B tier because she can be good, but it's console and you don't really see her being played that much. If you're a god tier Eevee, though, you can carry games. Fury as a support, I think she's one of the best ones in the game. Nothing with Fury has changed since last patch. She's still just as good as she was, and incredibly good support. If she's available, there is no drawback to just picking Furia. Even like every game, she fits with almost every comp and like almost every team. She's just that good. Grok, I don't know. I'll put Grok B tier, just for the sheer fact that Maelstrom Grok can be okay. As a healer, Grok is garbage. If you try to play a solo healer Grok, you're just wasting your time and you're throwing your game. He sucks. It is as purely as Maelstrom Grok is like a damage Grok in like a double support comp. And that is the only reason I'm going to be putting him in a B tier. Grover's really fallen off. Grover is really fallen off. I actually see more damage Grovers than I do healing Grovers now. I don't know what they did to Grover. I really don't. I think they just fucking killed the guy because they were sick of people complaining and dealing with him. He used to be like an S tier pick like almost every game because with Deep Roots it was just so good, and then you can run Deep Roots, and even like Rampant Blooming was still good. Rampant Blooming is not even that good anymore. He doesn't really have like an actual viable talent now, which I think is the real problem with Grover. If anything, you're going to be picking him in like a double support comp with like Ferocity and I don't know, like another support that's like a main healer and just mainly as like a DPS type healer on like your longer range map like Fish Market and like Frog Isle and those type of maps and Timber Mill. I don't know. It's kind of where I'm going to put him right now. I'm going to put him in A tier. I don't think he's bad, but I think he's just extremely average. There's a lot of better options right now. Like, I wouldn't say he's bad. He's not as bad as Grok is. But, I don't know. Amani, A tier. Amani needs buffs. Amani, the problem with Amani is she lacks damage big time. That is the real problem with her right now. You got stuff like Andro and 7 in the game that can just fucking delete you in like 2 seconds. Same with like Salty and Lex and a lot of the other champions towards the higher tier of this list. And then you got Amani that's doing like 200 damage per Frostbolt. The only thing she can actually have for damage is Fireball, and that still takes a second and a half to charge, pretty much, if you're not running Pyromania. So, I don't know. I think she needs her Frost stance buffed. I think that's the one thing she's kind of lacking. I wish they would just buff the damage on it, I think. I think she needs a hefty damage buff on her Frost stance, and she'll be a lot better. But apart from that, if you like playing Amani, I love playing Amani. She's fun to play. You can pick her, and you can still get away with her if you're really good. But there's just nothing really worth picking her for right now. She's just extremely average. There's not really any reason to pick her over a lot of other A+ or like S tier stuff right now. Isle, my favorite support in the game. She's still S tier. If you guys see Isle, she's great with almost any team on almost any map. Crazy good. Really good heals. The only thing that she's lacking is her ult's garbage. But apart from that, everything else about her is really, really solid. Nothing apart from her has changed since like last patch. Still really fun to play. Always going to be one of my favorite supports in the game just because I really enjoy playing her. And if you guys haven't played Isle in a while or don't play her, give Isle a try. She's great. Genos. Well, Genos A+ tier. I don't know. He was. Everybody was thinking he was really good. I don't know. I feel like he's A+ tier. I think the one thing that's separating him apart from a lot of the other sports is he can heal through walls, and that's the one thing he does have over a lot of other stuff. His ult got buffed last patch. Like, apart from that, nothing with him has really changed. He can be good, but like he's not as good as like anything above in like S tier. Like, I would rather have a Fury or like an Io on my team over a Genos. He's better with like your squishier teams with like a solo tank and like 3 DPS as like a solo support, even like in a double support comp. Binary Star is garbage, which is good because you shouldn't even be playing Binary Star anyways with Genos. You should be healing with him. You can go Cripple too as like a double support, which can work, but I don't know. I think he's just A+ tier right now. Not really much with him has changed. Just kind of your above average support that's really easy to play and you can do really good with depending on your team. I just wouldn't pick him into the teams that you need like a shit ton of heals for, and if the enemy team has like a bunch of damage, like a bunch of blasters, like a Dredge or a Betty or a bunch of other shit that just does a bunch of damage, he can't heal through all that. That's a huge problem with him as well. I'd only pick him with teams that have like solo tanks and like 3 DPS. That's where he works best. So I don't know. Con, S tier, still really good. As an off tank, I think he's still incredibly good. Incredibly good pick. Really easy to play. Just really straightforward to use. Always going to be really good. Really solid damage. Really good ult. Nothing with him's really changed at all. Canessa, B tier. Good on about 2 maps. She is good on Fish Market, and then she's good on Frog Isle. But then you have Andro and 7 and Lex all being played right now. And if they don't get banned and they get through, you're fucked. So at the same time, I don't even know if I should put her B tier or even lower right now, because they just get shit on. They shit on her like so badly. They really do. If there is one of them on the enemy team, you do nothing the entire match, and you just might as well just close the game and leave, because a bot would probably be even better, because you're just fucking worthless. They make it so difficult for you to even do anything. It's not even funny. I don't know. Just because she's good on 2 maps. I'll keep her B tier because she's good on 2 maps. Apart from that, I don't know. You can argue maybe moving her lower, but I don't know. I'll see what you guys have to say in the comments about that one. Koga, Pub Stomper. Once you get to your higher tiers of ranked, he does fall off, but like in your lower to mid tier games, he's always been a Pub Stomper, and he still is a Pub Stomper, especially if you pair a team around him that can pocket him and just kind of play with him. Still incredibly good. Nothing with him's really changed at all. For some reason, they nerfed his Dragon stance with one of his lifesteal cards, so that you're going to be seeing even less Claw Koga now for some reason, which it wasn't even being played at all to begin with. Just goes to show you they don't even know how to balance the game. They take one of his best cards, which is his lifesteal card, for his Claw stance and his Claw playstyle, and they nerf it for no fucking reason when nobody's even playing it. Round of applause, Cyrus. Round of applause. You guys are great. Don't even play your own fucking game, and if you did, you wouldn't have done that. Or you would have reverted in the PTS. You would have taken that reverted. You would have taken that and reverted that in the PTS, which I'm pretty sure you never did. At least that I know of. Leon, S tier. Crazy good. Crazy good. I actually think Leon needs to be nerfed because she's just really fucking annoying to play against. Having like half of your health bar deleted with one ability from about halfway across the map is one of the most toxic things ever, and that needs to go. I think once that gets nerfed, she can actually be in a balanced spot. But apart from that, she's still crazy. Just being able to pretty much just delete half of a squishy's health, like that, anybody that's not a tank, you can pretty much get rid of half of their health with one ability, and it's fucking crazy. Half of your abilities are auto aim. All you need to do is just look at somebody, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Very easy and very simple to play. As long as you know at least somehow how to play the game, and at least a little bit how to play the game, you'll do really good with her. I wouldn't say she's as brain dead as like a lot of the S tier picks, but she's pretty damn close. I think if some of the stuff above her as well gets nerfed, she might actually start moving up again. Next, we got Lilith. I think Lilith is average. There's the problem with Lilith is she just lacks range on her heals. That's the one huge problem that's kind of makes her struggle compared to a lot of the other supports. And her healing numbers are kind of low. They're smaller tick heals over time. They're not really like burst heals. So you have to have a team that kind of plays around you and plays with your swarm and plays with your tick heals. And a lot of your solo tier games and your solo ranked games, the random losers on your team don't even really do that, so you're kind of shit out of luck then. I think the best thing about her is her ult, and she does have really good survivability. But the one thing, and I guess two things that are actually holding her back, she's really bad in double support comp because she only has a really small health bar. Most of her health is blood health, which can't be healed, so she gets no benefit in double support comps. And then she struggles with range. Her range on her heal is still really bad. Her blood X is still pretty damn bad. It is better than it was. They did buff it slightly a patch or two ago, but still, I feel like the range is still really, really low. It needs to be buffed again to make her a little bit better. Apart from that, she's still really solid. She's really fun to play. She's probably the best champion that's Necro's actually created, which is a support champion, which is really, really weird because he can't create DPS or flanks or shit. So I don't know. Really cool champion though. If you guys haven't played Lilith yet, she should be in ranked now. She wasn't ranked yet, at least last time I played ranked here in the last couple days, but depending on when you're seeing this, she might actually be in ranked now. So check her out in ranked, and if you want to play her in ranked. She's pretty, I won't say she's crazy, but she's pretty average. She's not bad, but not incredibly good. Like I said, the best thing about her is probably her ult and her incredible survivability as a support. We got Maeve. It's really sad. You know, I fucking love Maeve. Maeve is one of my favorite champions in this game. And she is such a fun champion to play, and there are really very few other champions in the game like her to play that feel like her and actually reward you for playing her and actually learning to play her. And there another problem is she's not good because Andro, Seven, Salty, and Lex are all checks to her, and you can't fucking duel them because Andro has crazy damage. He two shots you, not even with headshots. Like he legit two shots you pretty much with two body shots with Curse Revolver. Seven has way more mobility than you on shorter cooldowns, and he pretty much is if he can hook you in and he can pull you into his grenades, you're pretty much dead. Salty drop kicks you into the air, two shots you if you get close enough, and she can kind of run away with stealth too, which is a pain in the ass. Terminus, you can kind of run away from. He's not really that big of a problem with her, and then Lex, if you're marked, you always lose a 1v1 because he's always getting lifesteal back with his cards, and he's doing way more damage than you are. I feel like she's just really difficult to play right now too. If I were them, I would actually give Maeve like a 1 second cooldown reduction on most of her abilities. I feel like her cooldowns are just really, really high compared to a lot of the other flanks in the game right now. I really do. Like even like a 0.5 second cooldown reduction on like all of her abilities would be great. Because like until you're able to spam her abilities, you have to build up to Chronos 3, and then you got shit in the game that like 7 that with Chronos 3 he has 2 second cooldowns on his dodge roll and his grapple. So like it doesn't make sense. And even with Chronos 3 you still have like a 5-6 second cooldown depending on your loadout, like with Prowl. So and even like with your with Paladins it's still like a 4 second cooldown with Chronos 3. So I mean, I guess it depends on your loadout too, because she does have a few loadout cards that can decrease cooldowns more depending on what you want to play, but like I'm just talking in general. I don't know. I just wish she was better. Like she's not bad, but you have to be really careful on what team you pick her into, because if you pick her into a team that has anything in S tier, apart from I guess maybe Terminus, and then there's a few other things in the game that's kind of shit on her as well. Sky is one of them, and there's a few others that just really shit on her. You aren't going to do much the entire game, and it's going to be a really, really difficult match for you. It really is. I just wish she was a lot better, and she is being held back. Like I said, another flank that is being held back because the game's balance right now is so fucking bad. What a surprise. It's absolute shame. I fucking love Maeve, and I just wish she was better. She takes skill to play, and she's so fun to play. And I just wish we would either get more flanks like her in the future, which I doubt that we'll ever get. If they do, they'll fuck it up somehow. He fucked up Caspain, he fucked up all the other flanks, made them all super annoying recently, so I actually don't even want us to get like another flank that's kind of like Maeve. I really don't, but I don't know what to tell you guys. Justice for Maeve, I guess. We'll have to wait until Andro and 7 and a lot of those champions get nerfed and see where she drops then, because they're the stuff that's kind of holding her back right now. Makoa, A tier, average. He got his Shelf Shield buff this patch. He got some reduced cooldown, I think by like 2 or 3 seconds. He's a little bit better, but still, that's just mainly like his half shell playstyle. Apart from that, nothing with him's really changed. He's average. He can be better depending on if you land your hooks or not. At least me, I can only land hooks at close range. I'm a close range fisherman. I can only pull people in at close range. I can't land my medium or long range hooks, unfortunately. I'm not that good, but if you're a Makoa god and you land like all your hooks, then I'd even put him higher in this list, but he's average. Nothing crazy about him right now at all. And if anything, he's another champion that's being held back by Androxus too, because with headshots, you pretty much get 4-shotted by Androxus as a tank. If that doesn't go to show you how fucking broken Androxus is, that he's able to 4-shot Makoa that has like 4,000 health with 4 headshots. I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't. I mean, granted, I don't know if it's exactly 4,000 health. It depends on your builds. I know he has a health card too. It depends on what build to get whoever's running the Makoa at the time. But just like as an example, it's usually around 4 headshots and you're pretty much killed. Damba, I'm gonna put Damba at A tier, average. Nothing crazy about Dom, but if you're good with him, he can still put in work. But the problem is he's a hit scan healer on console, and there's just a lot of easier options. Like, there's really no reason to play him over like a Fury or an IO, or a lot of the other stuff too. Got Moji. You guys know where Moji's going. Right down to F tier. Every single tier list I make, Moji is an F tier. Is down an F tier. It's a shame. I just wish they would rework her into a support because the game desperately needs support. It really does. Will she ever get reworked into a support? Find out probably like 2 or 3 years from now. And I'm probably going to make a prediction. She still probably won't be reworked. She'll be the exact same. I mean, at that point, why wouldn't we just delete her from the game? Delete Moji from the game, please. If they don't want to rework her and they don't care about her, just get rid of her from the game because she doesn't add anything to the game at all. The game does not change at all if Moji is here or not in this game. Who cares? Here's Pip. Wow, I wish Pip was really good now, too. Another champion that's being held back by all the champions that are in SS tier. Andro legit fucking 2-taps you with one headshot. Half of your health bar is gone with one headshot. It is fucking crazy. You cannot do Andro. 7 deletes you automatically. Salty, if she drop kicks you in the air, you get 2-shotted by Salty. And then Lex, if you're marked, you get 3-shotted by him. Again, another flank that's just being held back by all the other broken flanks and shit in the S tier. The only thing I'm not talking about is Terminus because there's certain champions that are good against him and not. I don't know. I want to put him higher because Pip is such a cool champion. Like, I don't know if they understand how cool Pip is. He is. There's not even a single champion in this game that is even on like the realm of how unique and how cool Pip is. I just wish he was played a lot more because he's actually a fun champion to play with and against, and he's not frustrating to play with at all. He's actually fun to play against. And he's cool because you don't see him being played that much. I just wish they would fucking buff him and make him viable to play. Because he's just such a cool champion and he's so underrated and he has so much potential, but they just never fucking do anything with him and he's always the same. I don't know. It's so sad. I fucking love Pip, I really do, but I can't put him higher than like a C tier. He just gets destroyed by everything. I think the only time you can maybe use him is like like a flank / DPS healer hybrid, like off flank or something like that. I don't know. It's just so difficult to play him right now. It really is. You get destroyed by pretty much everything, and that's the real problem with him. You try to play combat medic. If you don't have a 5-stack, you get screwed. Do not play combat medic if you're solo queuing ranked. You're going to lose. Mega potion really isn't the greatest either, especially if you're solo queuing ranked. You have to have a 5-stack to make that work too with a coordinated team. Really sad. Such a cool champion. Yet again, just like Maeve and like Eevee and a lot of the other champions I talk about in this entire list so far. Another really cool and unique champion being held back yet again and continues to be held back because they don't know how to balance this fucking game. It's so sad. It really is. Rom. I think Rom's actually the best he's been in a while. I'm going to put Rom in an A+ tier. Subservience is actually really good. If you want to play Rom right now, Subservience Rom is actually the best way to play him. He does really solid heals for him and his team out the entire game, and he actually does really solid damage, and he's able to spam a lot of ults. The only problem is that he gets checked by a lot of stuff, so you kind of got to be careful on what you pick him into, because there are a lot of checks that are being played right now that are really good against Rom. Cassie, Skye, a lot of other stuff. Ruckus, I think Ruckus is B tier. Again, he's kind of being held back by a lot of the higher tier stuff, because that just pretty much deletes him, and there's a lot of other better stuff in the game right now, especially for like off tanks. He can be good on certain maps and versus certain teams, don't get me wrong, but he's just not consistent enough to put him above a B tier. Saris, I'm going to put Saris in A+, just mainly for the heals. She has a pretty spammable ult, her ult's pretty good, and then just mainly for heals. Apart from that, nothing with her's really changed at all. A+ tier, just to get your above average healer. Really easy to play, very straightforward, relatively safe. There you go. Shaolin, wow, another champion that I would love to see more of on console. If you were to ask me, guys, if I actually knew if Shaolin was actually a thing on console, I would tell you guys probably not. I don't even. I would probably forget he would even exist half the time with how little he's played. I just wish Shaolin would be good on console, and we'd see him on console a lot more. But I know he's a lot better on PC, and PC sees him played a lot more. But on console, you don't see him that much. And if you do, it's only in your higher tier games. I'll put him at C tier. Next, we got Sky. She got a bit of a nerf to her poison bolt this patch. She's still just as good as she was. I'm putting her at S tier. She is the definition of a really incredibly annoying pub stomper champion. She can be ban worthy depending if you're solo queuing or not, because a lot of your random players that you're going to get paired with don't know how to play against her, and she'll just farm your team the entire game. And that's the real thing why she's so annoying. Apart from that, I don't know. Are you really going to ban Sky over a lot of these other higher tier stuff like Andro, 7, and Sati, and even like Lex most of the time? I don't know about you guys, but I would rather play against Sky than Andro or 7, or even Sati most times. I don't know. It just depends on what game you have and who's on your team, and it comes down to personal preference, I guess. Pick your poison. But she's still incredibly good. She's a pub stomper that just runs people, and people aren't really building Illuminate as much anymore, which I've been noticing because it costs a lot more. So usually per game, instead of the entire enemy team usually buying Illuminate, now maybe it's only like 1 or 2 people. So you can kind of play around that a lot easier now, and that's made her a lot better because they increased the price on Illuminate, so it's not easy to buy from the item store. That's made her a lot better over the last couple patches as well. Strix going right down to F tier, nothing with him has changed. They buffed the damage on his flashbang by 100 damage. Whoop-de-fucking-do, like I was gonna ever kill anybody with a fucking flashbang anyways. One of the worst ultimates, if not the worst ultimate in the game. Does not even work half the time, and it gets hooked on walls so frequently. Who cares? Hashtag justice for Strix because he's fucking garbage. Gone are the days when Strix used to be fun to play, when he had the old crack shot and you'd be able to hit somebody with your sniper and then switch to your pistol and just try to spam him down real fast with the bonus damage. That was the fun time of playing Strix back when he was fun. Ever since they got rid of him and rid of that talent, they nerfed his fire rate and they nerfed all the other shit about him. Over the span of like 2 patches a few years ago, he's never been the same, and he's on the same level of Moji. If you're looking for a sniper right now, you don't choose Strix. If a Kness is available, you choose her all the time. Talus, A+ tier. Mainly a champion you're going to be seeing banned on console. I don't think he's that good on PC, but on console in your lower to mid-tier games, just because he's really annoying to play against, you'll see him being banned a lot. Kind of the similar situation as like a Koga and a Sky. If you don't get them banned most of the time, they kind of just farm your team, and you can maybe kill them, but they'll just farm the rest of your team, and it'll be a 1v5, and you still can't win that way. So at the same time, like, look at all the other stuff that you need to be banned. So again, it's kind of pick your poison. What do you want to pick, and what do you want to go against? I'm going to have to go against something. Do I want to go against Andro, 7, or Sati, or Lex? Or do I want to go against Sky, Talus, or Koga instead and let one of them 3 through? It's just pick your poison. That's one of the fucking awful things that makes the game so unfun right now. There's so much shit that you just need to ban every game that it lets all this other stuff through that should be banned as well, especially on console. You have to end up dealing with it most of the time. Tiberius is average. Nothing crazy about Tiberius at all. Kind of a one pump chump and a 1 ability chump. That's pretty much what he is. He's good for combat trance, and that's about it. Apart from that, his damage is still pretty bad. It's kind of eh. I wouldn't say it's really bad. I think it's just kind of eh. It's not really that good, but his ult still is okay. I think they should buff his ult to give him a couple more charges because it's really fun to use, but I mean, they can't even balance the rest of the game. You guys expect them to balance Tiberius. Come on now. Torvald, D tier. Only good if you can pair him with a team. If you're like in a 5-stack and you plan to end a game in under 10 minutes and you build an entire team around him, that's the only time he's good. He does have Guardian, and Guardian does work with him now, which makes him a little bit better. But at the same time, he still just gets shredded, and after, if the game goes longer than like 10 minutes, he becomes pretty much useless, and that's the huge problem with him. Actually, I think I'm going to put him at C tier. I think D tier is a little bit too low. He can be better. He can be pretty good. It just depends on what team you're pairing him with and what you're going against. Tyra, S tier. Tyra's going to S tier. Crazy. She's really good right now. Mainly being picked as like a counter pick. You're not really even seeing Burn Monster being ran as much nowadays because after it got nerfed a couple patches back. You're mainly seeing Mercy Kill being ran and even like Hunting Party for a lot of these stealth champions. She's more of a counter pick into stuff like Sky, Seven, and Salty. If you do want to let Seven and Salty through for some random stupid reason, Tyra is actually a solid pick. You pick Illuminate on your team, you mark them the entire game for your team to track them down, and that seems to work pretty damn well. So she's kind of in the spot right now where she's kind of a counter pick to a lot of the other stuff and a few other champions in the game. That's kind of where she is right now. So, I don't know. She's still really good, though. Still incredibly good. Still a must-pick most times. With how much damage and how consistent she is. Same with Victor. Nothing with him's really changed at all. From last patch to this patch at all. Just pretty much the exact same. I'm going to move Vivian up. This might actually be the biggest tier shift of the entire tier list. From this one, all from the last one. I'm going to move Vivian. I think I had Vivian at like a B tier, or like an A tier last tier list. I'm going to move her up to an S tier. I think she's actually pretty good now, y'all. I think she is one of the best checks in the game to stuff like Sky, Seven, and Salty, the invisibility champions that are all being played right now. It's really weird, too. Like, everybody, I actually think her best talent is Booby Trap. Run like a talent that is based around your drone, or not your drone, or around your reveal. And your reveal drone, so you can have that off cooldown. I think she has a couple cooldown cards in her kit where you're just able to constantly keep throwing out reveal drones the entire game. You get a lot of chip damage. You're able to track down the Sevens and all the other stealth champions without having to really buy Illuminate, or at least as much Illuminate as you really would need. Maybe like a tier 1 or a tier 2 instead of a tier 3. And then you're able to deal with it for your team, and you can kind of play as the coordinated champion on your team, meant to constantly go after those champions for your team, so your team doesn't have to worry about them, and that's what she really does good right now. Her damage is still okay, like she's still incredibly easy to play. She's kind of a point and fire champion. That's really what she's always been. Her damage is really good though, if she does have an ult up. I still feel like she does lack damage when she doesn't have an ult, but when she does have an ult up, she does shred stuff, so I don't know. Who would have knew, y'all? Who would have knew Vivian would has risen up on console just because of all the other broken shit that needs reveals and benefits from being revealed the entire game? Who knew? As like a counter pick pretty much, or like a check to a lot of that stuff. Willow being held back by a lot of the other top stuff in the game, gets shit on by pretty much everything in the higher tier. She really does. Really situational, and that's why I'm putting her B tier. She can be good versus certain teams, but you got to be really careful on what you play her into. If you don't know what you're doing, or if there's something on the enemy team that just destroys you, you're going to do nothing the entire game. I think she needs to be buffed. She needs some desperate buffs. Increase the distance on her flutter. Give her some more time in the air with her ult. Make her ult a lot better. I don't know, something. Give her something, please. Increase her base damage. Like, give her some buffs. I don't know. She needs something. She's kind of struggling. Ying, A tier. I should put Ying in B tier. I don't think she's that good. I do not think Ying is good at all. All Ying is a throw pick most times because people don't, for some reason, they don't want to pick Ying as a support. They don't play Ying as a support. That's the problem. They play her as like a damage champion with extra mirror damage, whatever that talent is, or like Renaissance, and they just throw their match. The only time that your team will have heals is when she ults. She pretty much becomes a one ult bot. That's pretty much all she becomes. That being said, if you do want to heal with her, she's still pretty damn bad. The problem with Ying is her damage, not her damage numbers, her healing numbers are too damn low. Even after the buffs to life exchange and then the health buffs for that, which also got reverted, by the way. I think they slightly reverted some of those buffs. Even with those buffs, like, she still is not that good. Her problem is the only time she is actually good is when she ults. She's pretty much an alt bot, and that's the real problem with Ying. She can't keep a team fully sustained even with life exchange because her healing numbers are just so fucking low. That's the real problem with her. You're better off picking anything else. I would rather even have a Lilith or a Damba on my team than a fucking Ying. She needs some huge buffs or like some reworks or something. Get rid of her damage talents, please. That is the real problem with Ying. Until they get rid of her damage talents, she's always going to be garbage. Because nobody actually plays her as a support. They think of her as like a damage champion, pretty much. When she's not supposed to be. I fucking hate the people that play her as damage champion too, because they just throw your match. It's a pretty much guaranteed loss most times. With a solo healer fucking damaging. Up next we got Xin. I feel like Zin's fallen off a little bit. I'm gonna put him A tier. I mean, I guess I'll put him A+. I don't think he's A tier worthy. I think he's A+ worthy. If you can play Zin, he's still really good. He's fallen off a little bit, but I think he's still really good. Not much with him has really changed, apart from last patch. He's still incredibly good. If you know what you're doing, you can play him. He also got a new skin this patch, along with Terminus, so you'll probably be seeing Zin being played a little bit more because they got new skins. Granted, the skins look like shit, but still. Vora, put Vora at A tier. Kind of just average. The one thing Vora lacks is she lacks damage. She has good poke damage, but it's not really enough damage to matter most times because everybody just heals through her damage. Her damage doesn't really matter until late game when Cauterize 3 is a thing, and that's kind of where she struggles because her damage numbers are really low until late game. So that's the one thing she kind of struggles with, and her mobility isn't the greatest either. You got to run an entire talent to have a decent amount of mobility. And if you don't run like the 2 Tendril talent, where you have 2 charges of Tendril, then you kind of lack mobility. You're kind of just a slow-moving, semi-mobile type of DPS champion, which you don't really want to do, and you're better off just playing something else in that case. And for some reason, they keep nerfing her for no reason. I don't know why she keeps getting nerfed. Again, they don't know how to balance this game. They're nerfing Vora, but then they got stuff like Seven and Androxus in this game. Does that make any sense? It does not at all. It boggles my mind how they balance this shit. Yaggoth, A tier, average. The main problem with Yaggoth is you kind of have to build a team around her. If you do not have a team built around her, she kind of gets shit on by a lot of stuff, especially like Cassie, Skye, Tyra, a lot of those type picks. She just gets shit on by a lot of that type of stuff. You have to have a team kind of built around her to make her work. Apart from that, nothing with her has really changed at all. And she also probably got the best skin, and probably one of the best things out of this entire update, which was the Cuddly Yaggoth skin. If you guys are watching this, I actually might have a video up featuring that skin as well. If you guys want to go check that out, I might have it linked at the end of this video. But we actually played that on stream a couple days ago, so. Probably the only good thing out of this patch, content-wise, that was actually worth was the Cuddly Yaggoth skin. That's the only thing we really have, which is sad. Best highlight of the patch was a Yaggoth skin. That is pathetic. Really pathetic. Octavia, S tier, still does crazy damage numbers. I don't know why she does so much damage. I don't know why they just don't nerf her damage numbers even more. And how she still does as much damage as she does. It doesn't make any sense. It really don't. Incredibly good. It comes down to what you really want to play. Like, there's a lot of other DPS picks in this tier as well that are really good. It just comes down to what you really want to play. She's also even a ban sometimes because she's just incredibly annoying. You can even ban her sometimes if you really want to as like a third ban if the enemy team still needs a DPS and you think that might be what they're trying to pick. Vatu, I'm going to put Vatu in B tier. The problem with Vatu on console is you gotta play him flawlessly to make him work. If you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna feed and you're just better off picking something else. But at the same time, if you do know what you're doing, you can just single-handedly carry games. Kind of the same thing as like Eevee and like even BK. And he's also a lot better on PC. I think Vatu is one of those champions that's a lot better on PC. And probably gonna play a lot similar to like Caspian. Once Caspian people start learning how to play him, he's gonna play a lot same as like Vatu, where he's going to take a lot of fucking skill to make him work, but if you can make him work, you can maybe carry games. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Ray is really bad. Ray sucks. B tier. I'm actually being generous. I'm actually going to move her down to D tier. I don't think she's good at all. I think Ray sucks. I'm going to move her down to D tier. What reason, like, if you're saying, oh, why is Ray D tier? Ask yourself this. What reason is there to pick Ray over any other support that is higher than her on this list? I'll wait. I come up with like one really good reason on why to pick her over any of these other supports. There really is no reason. There is no reason to pick her over any other supports. There's not. Garbage. They nerfed her into the ground, and she's never been the same. She's been garbage ever since. The only thing she has going for her is her ult, and the ult charge she gives to people. And even then, that got nerfed so much to the point where it doesn't even matter that much anymore. It used to be really good, and then they just kept nerfing it, and now it doesn't even matter anymore. She has no good loadout cards apart from like 2 loadout cards that actually matter now. Her damage is still pretty bad. It's okay, but it could be a lot better. She just lacks everything. There's just no reason to pick her at all. Azan, I think Azan's A+ tier as an off tank. Not really much with him has changed at all. The main problem with him though is everybody wants to play him as a point tank. If you play Azan as a point tank, you're gonna lose. His cooldowns are way too high to play him as a point tank, and that's the real problem with him. If you want to play Azan, you gotta play him as a point tank. And I just think that right now with Azan too, there's a few other better off tanks that you kind of want to prioritize over him, such as like an Atlas or like a Khan. I don't know, even like Rom. Most times it depends on what team, but like Rom's also a lot better now, which gives him a little bit more competition as like an off tank. So that's kind of why he's A+ tier now. Then we got Beta La Bomba. Still just as buggy as she was. None of her bugs got fixed from last patch over to this patch. I do think she has potential though. Like she does a fuck ton of damage for a blaster. If you can, for some reason, if you enjoy playing her, like for me, she just feels like a chore to play. Because her reload feels so awful. It really does. But she does do really solid damage numbers. I think the one thing that's really holding her back from being good, though, is I'm actually going to put her B tier instead of A tier. She's just so buggy. Until her bugs get fixed, I don't think I can ever put her above like a B tier. If you want a blaster that still does a fuck ton of damage, like she's probably the most mobile blaster apart from like Drogos in the game. She still does really solid damage, but like she's just so buggy. Like that's the problem with like every single one of her abilities is still bugged. She has reload bugs, she has bugs with her main weapon, her ult doesn't do damage half the time. Half of her abilities will throw down her hail of bombs or whatever it is, her fountain of bombs, and it'll disappear sometimes. Like everything about her is bugged. They just never fix her bugs, and that's the real problem with her, and that's what's really holding her back. She is so fucking buggy that half the time you're struggling to play her because she's just so buggy and so bugged. And then her reload still feels like shit. You have to kind of stack Deft Hands 3 as a first item still, just to kind of get around that with how bad it feels. And constantly just being out of ammo. Alright, well, there you have it, y'all. This here is the console tier list for the Constellations Paladins patch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys agree with me? Is there stuff that I forgot to mention or talk about in this video? Let me know. If you guys like these types of videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. And if you are new, we also do stream over on this channel as well. We stream Paladins, we stream Apex Legends. We're going to be streaming Splatoon 3 and Overwatch 2 here in about the next month, starting in September and October. So if that is stuff you do not want to miss out on, turn notifications on, and if you're new, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And share the video. Really helps out. Really appreciate all your guys' support. Let's see if we can get this video to 20 likes. That'd be great. And I'll keep bringing you guys these types of videos. I should have a bunch of other stuff on the way, so if you guys don't want to miss any of my future stuff, a lot of other Paladins videos on the way as well. Probably going to be getting another update show here probably like a week or two. Probably like 3 weeks from now, so I'll be covering that as well. So, or like at least some teasers and stuff for the Halloween updates. If you guys don't want to miss that, subscribe. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for watching.